Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome on this beautiful Wednesday evening. I am loving the sunshine on today, and I thank you for taking the opportunity and taking a break from it to be here on Get to Know Bob, this amazing platform where we bring you some phenomenal Black business owners, authors, musicians, founders of nonprofit, just Black people doing the dang on thing within the community. Can you say yes? I know I can. And I'm excited for this conversation. And I thank you for joining. I am your host, Sonia M. Weaver. And I know y'all be like, every week she says she's excited. I really am. I'm going to be honest. I am excited every week. But it's something about this conversation we going to have tonight that just is so special to me. And I am really looking forward to it. So, without further ado, let's get into tonight's show. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't do too much this past weekend. Y'all know I always kick off the show with all the amazing things that I've done over the weekend. Your girl needed to rest. I mean, rested so much I couldn't even remember what I did this weekend until I realized I rested this weekend. But I did, of course, slip in supporting some Bobs. You know, I had to do that between the last time you saw me. So I had an amazing time. As you know, we have many events that I've talked about at In Harmony Cafe, Sweets and Treats, or Sweets and More, I should say, located in Detroit, Michigan, off of Dexter. And the great thing about it, this was around their 1 year anniversary. They had just celebrated 1 year anniversary of being open. Thank you to the community for supporting them, making sure they made it. Now, I don't want you to stop because there's so much that can be done right over in that area, and they are committed to doing it. Let me tell you, they have what's called the Little Black Book of businesses that have come through there, and it is loaded with amazing Bobs in it. So you already know our minds are like tuned into the same place, supporting Bob. And I just spent my time speaking with the owners, congratulating and hearing their why. Their why is amazing. So you already know they will be on our show because you need to hear it as well. But in the meantime, go find out the why for yourself and go over and visit In Harmony Cafe. I don't have the address off the top of my head, so I will make sure that I include it in the comments to this show. But I'm telling you, in Detroit, Michigan, just do a search. They have a website because they are a reputable business. So if you have the name, you can get the address. You might have to just do a little homework. And I want to remind you guys to make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel if you have not already done so. So I will say, I stayed there a lot longer than I anticipated. I originally went because I had a business meeting. And of course, whenever I can, we meet at Black-owned establishments. Why not kill two birds with one stone? But on top of it, I just don't go anywhere. I go places in which it's worth inviting someone, right? So if you're there, you have an opportunity to plug into the Wi-Fi, do some networking. You can do some work. You can sit back on one of the sofas. You can sit at a table. I mean, it has a lounge effect. And on top of it, if you're looking for a small place to rent for an event, they also rent out that space. So it's so much going on that you definitely need to check out In Harmony Cafe. And since I love it so much, the deal of the day for Deals with Bob is that we're going to be giving away a gift certificate to In Harmony Cafe. One, because we want you to visit, and two, because it is their 1 year anniversary. So we want to celebrate them while celebrating you. How do you qualify to get this gift certificate? Well, all you need to do is follow our 3 simple steps. What you would do to get this is you would go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you are already a subscriber, then you're ahead of the game. 2, then you will like and follow us on social media. We're on Facebook and Instagram. And if you already like and follow us, you're ahead of the game. And then 3, you're going to share and tag 5 of our previous Get to Know Bob episodes. Yes, make sure you do that because we want other people to know about the other phenomenal businesses that we have spoken with. Make sure you tag us. And then you're going to just send us a quick email letting us know that you completed all 3 steps and that you want that gift certificate. That is all you have to do. And the first person to do that will have their gift certificate too in Harmony Cafe. Can you get excited? Now, for tonight's conversation, we're really going to have I think my level of energy might be outdone for tonight. I'm going to tell you that. But as we prepare to go into our conversation, I want to remind you to watch last week's episode where we had a conversation with Miss Lisa Underwood. Now, we did have a little bit of technical difficulty, so we are going to have Miss Lisa come back, but she is the founder of I'm a Detroit Girl Clothing Creations, and she has some phenomenal products that you definitely want to check out. And on tonight, we will be having a conversation with Chef Jacob. And I am so excited to speak with Chef Jacob. So come on, how are you doing?
Snap, I don't think y'all can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
What's
I can
going
hear you.
on? What's going on? What's going on? Thank you for having me.
Of course, you just don't understand. I was like, he wants to come on my show. That was phenomenal for me right there, because I don't know how y'all see me. I have to have the realization that sometimes I think I look old to people. So I'm like, is he gonna want to come on this old lady show?
Come on now.
But I am so glad that you are here. I am so proud of everything that you're doing, and I want everyone else to know exactly what you do. So, without further ado, here on Get to Know Bob, I pass the baton to you. Here's your time for you to let us know who you are, a little bit about you, what you do. Well, we know you're a chef, but tell us more and why you do what you do.
So my name is Jacob Guyton. As Miss Sonia said, I am a culinary major at Johnson and Wales University. Currently, I am been striving to be a chef since it's almost been a decade. My mother actually put me in a program at Triumph Church when I was around like 10 years old. And one of my mentors was Chef Max L. Hardy. And at first, at the time I was young, so I was like goofing around a little bit heavy. I was definitely goofing around, getting in trouble, doing just boy things. And I guess for whatever reason, Chef Max seen something in me I ain't seen myself, especially in the culinary thing. Because at the time I was a basketball player, and my dad told me that summer it was you can play basketball or you can cook. So I had to pick one for which sport I was gonna do this summer because with my family, you pick one and you go along with it. So cooking was what I did, and my mom put me in the class. So after the class was like 10 weeks, and me and Chef Max ended up getting a very strong relationship, which it caused us to start catering. It caused us to me working at shadowing him, working at his restaurant, and after that, I kind of just took on with it. I've been cooking ever since after that. So I came into high school on a mission, trying to make sure that I was on my culinary path. But I went to Renaissance High School, graduated class of 2022. But in high school, the crazy part about it, I didn't even take no culinary classes until my 11th grade year. I came
Okay.
into a culinary school strictly dependent on academics. But at the time, it was like, let's see what I can do to try to squeeze into getting culinary classes because my school didn't offer it, but other Detroit schools did. It was like
Mhm.
a Brighthoff program. So 11th grade, when COVID hit, I was able to convince my counselor to convince my principal to be able to put me in the Brighthoff program because I was the only student from Renaissance that was able to even be in the Brighthoff program.
Okay.
So me and the head chef at the Brighthoff program, Chef Spratling, we ended up getting a very close relationship to where he ended up becoming one of the chefs that cooked at Shane Park. And I ended up shadowing him a little bit over, shadowing him, weekends. And then some days it'll be during the week, just accumulating a bond and a connection with him just to, shadow and gain more skill.
Mhm.
Now, also while doing that, I was also in restaurants all through the city. I was working at Coop Detroit at the Detroit Shipping Company. I was also working at Jazz Detroit. That was another one of Chef Max's restaurants. So I was just kind of shadowing him, gaining more skill. And I graduated, moved on to college. But that summer before college, ended up getting a job at the Detroit Athletic Club. And that was like one of my big little, accomplishments. And I was very proud of myself for that, which I was able to gain more skill because the top chef in the city, Chef Sean Lovin, was the head chef for the Detroit Athletic Club. So just being under him and just being able to see what he can teach me and offer me and what I can offer him was just a great feeling for that myself. So I worked with the Detroit Athletic Club from around since I got out, I think July until it was time for me to go to college. I went to culinary school my whole year from my 2022 to 2023 year. Came back home, worked for the Detroit Athletic Club again. Then we're parted ways. Currently, I'm about to work at the Highlands now.
Now, you know what? That is awesome. That is inspiring to me. So I know it should be inspiring to you. And thank you all for watching and tuning in tonight. Thank you for joining. Make sure you share with others. Wow. That was an amazing journey. A couple of things that I heard in there that is huge for any industry, any area, is that when you gained, well, let me take a step back. When you decided an area, you got focused. Now, you mentioned initially you were at your age, and I'll talk about that a little bit later because I understand exactly what you meant by that comment. But once you decided to get focused, you built relationship. One is what I heard. And in that relationship, they allowed themselves to mentor. And you actually took on the role of being a mentee and allowing that information and knowledge to actually, you know, transcend into your thoughts, your psyche, your being, how you carried yourself and everything. I absolutely like love everything that you said. Now, first year, well, let me take it back. You went to high school and you said they didn't have a certain program. I
No.
never heard of the program because I'm not in culinary arts. So what exactly did the program do? You said it's 12 weeks. Though, do they take you to a introduction of it
Oh,
or
with the Brighthoff program?
yes?
Okay, so when I came in ninth and 10th grade, I was asked to see if they already had a culinary program, and they
Okay.
didn't. And so I kind of just, just went along with it just to see if I could, gain more skill outside of the school.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I did until it was COVID. And my
Mm-hmm.
mama told me to reach out one more time because Brighthoff only accepted classes when you're either 11th, a junior or a senior.
Oh,
So
okay.
since COVID hit and it was time to, redo our schedule for our junior year, my mother reached out to Miss Jones, my counselor at the time.
Okay.
And I'm forever grateful for Miss Jones because if she didn't get me into that, I wouldn't know where I would be.
Mm.
So Miss Jones reached out to my principal. Me and my principal had a strong relationship from ninth grade to junior year, or actually
Mm.
till now. So we had a strong relationship. So she already knew that I was a chef and wanted to be a chef and all the extra. So she was able to make a call at Brighthoff to get me in the program. And so I would drive from home, and the program Brighthoff was like on Joy Road off. I think it was like Joy Road off Hubble. I think somewhere around that area, Joy
Mm-hmm.
Road and Hubble area. So I'll drive from home to Brighthoff. From Brighthoff will be like 12:15 till 3:30, I believe. So I'll have my morning classes. That was just my regular gen ed, and then after I took all that, I would go straight to my culinary class.
Okay, so it's actually culinary classes and teaching.
Hmm.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Awesome. So before we proceed, Jacob, into our next segment, we're going to take a moment to recognize the nonprofits for tonight's show and our segment featured businesses that are sponsoring tonight. So we would like to show our featured nonprofit for this show is All for One. All for One is a nonprofit that does amazing work in our community. In a couple of weeks, we will have the founder, Ishmael Terry, on, and they have their back to school jamboree coming up. So make sure you mark your calendars for September the 11th at 11. And that is going to benefit all of the children within our neighborhoods with full back to school backpacks, as well as an outfit to wear to start off with those who donate those. And we are excited because they have gotten a partnership sponsor with Walmart. Congratulations, All for One. Our business for this segment is True to You, and True to You is offering our consumers a free gift. You also have an opportunity to make your own candle at the candle making class on Sunday, August 20th from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. It's a 90-minute class that includes all of your fragrance and blending items to make a 10-ounce candle. This is going to be happening in Clarkston, Michigan. For more information, you can go to their website. The cost is $45. And of course, we want to make sure you mark your calendars and still support the John E. Lawrence Summer Jazz Series. It will run until September the 1st. On this weekend, August the 8th, there's Paula Atherton. I'm not good with all these jazz musicians, so I know I just butchered her name. But make sure you check out that on Friday, the 18th. The event is free. Parking is $5, and this happens at Ford Lake Park. Okay, Jacob. Now, what I alluded to a little earlier, because we're going to talk about our connection, how we know each other, right? We had the amazing pleasure of being connected at one of the best summer camp anywhere. I say anywhere, because people from other places come here for this camp. So I'm going to say anywhere, right? And that is the phenomenal Money Matters for Youth Financial Literacy Camp that is founded and started by the amazing Gail Perry Mason, and all of the phenomenal work she does with her passion to make sure our youth are educated with financial literacy. And for those of you who know, Gail has been on the program. She has shared with us why she started and her passion for doing so. And because of, you can see the foundation that Jacob has, he kind of talked a little bit, he just said his parents, but you know, they are definitely a part of his life and make sure that he does phenomenal things. He was part of this camp. So Jacob, how long had you attended the camp? When did you start?
I think I've been in the camp 6 years straight. I think
6 years.
6 or 5 years straight.
Okay. And I can't remember when I started volunteering, but I do know there was one thing. I told them they could use me any kind of way, but there was only one thing. I had to work with large cap. I am, you have to know your weakness. I am not that patient with the smaller caps. So I had to work with large cap. And I remember like yesterday, because I don't know if the first year when I had you in large cap, I don't know if it was your first year.
I think it was like 3 years ago. 3 years ago. Because it was
okay,
it
so
was
that
the
wasn't
year before COVID. It was the year before COVID.
But that wasn't your first year in large cap, though, was it?
Because I was in mid cap before.
But was that the first year in large with me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's the reason why. Okay, so I can remember this like yesterday. We're at U of D, and you're on that back row, and I'm like, okay, large cap, and these just like giggly side conversations, and I'm like, okay, because I kind of got to pinpoint the ones who I'm going to have to talk to multiple times throughout the week. And Jacob was on that radar. And so then I was like, look, I don't know what it was, but you said something to me. And And it made me realize, you know what, he's not one of those quote unquote mischievous kids. I said, okay, so whatever you said, it did resonate with me because I said, okay, tell you what, I need you to be engaged because a lot of people, for whatever reason, as you can see, have your ear and they're following you. And I'm gonna tell you what he did. I said, "Can you assist me? How can we make this so that this is beneficial to both of us? Because I know you're in large cap. That means my large cap students know how to behave. So tell me what's going on." And so after that, he became my I wouldn't say right hand. One of them, I take a few under my wing each year that kind of help me, and they get engaged and they help keep the other people engaged by being engaged. Because at first, I think I almost was about to confiscate your cell phone.
Oh yeah, I was on it too much. Of course, yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
You do.
Oh yes, yes. You had to tell me put my phone away like 7 times.
I know, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna take them. I'm just gonna take them. And after I think I was about to take your phone, or either I did, that's when we had the conversation. But what I will say is that volunteering for Money Matters has been amazing. And this was the kickoff to our 2023 as we prepared for this year. And let me tell you, in case y'all think I'm just, telling stories, Jacob, check him out.
All involved. My group was the best. My group. I don't care about nobody else's group. My kids that I had this year were the phenomenal, phenomenal. Like I feel like this year was probably one of the best years of Money Matters. Outside us, that's mentors now.
Uh huh.
But this year was a great year, especially the kids. I don't want to say the mid cap was more involved than in the past. Like me, you actually like watching in the past. This year, the
Mm-hmm.
kids were more involved.
Now that's awesome. So what these pictures did for me as I saw them and was gathering them is because it's almost like we came full circle for me just through the camp itself. So Jacob went in my large cap to being one who was not initially as engaged to starting becoming engaged throughout that week to actually being because y'all not counselors, so don't let me say the wrong word. What are y'all called?
Junior counselors. We were junior counselors.
Y'all not counselors.
We were junior counselors. So just for like, you got the main counselors like you, Miss Gail, Erica, everybody else. We was like the junior counselors that, we was like second in command. So the
But what
first people
you
will come to
are,
us.
but what do we call you?
We was junior
We
counselors.
don't. I don't think we use counselors. I can't think of the term because we call them investors. We
Oh,
call.
financial coaches. Financial
Thank
coaches.
you.
Financial coaches.
Right. I said we don't call y'all counselors.
Yeah, financial
Financial
coaches.
coaches. And so, as a financial coach, the difference between counselors, that's why I wanted to make this point, is that you started off as a young investor and you're taking that information and that knowledge. So not only are you guiding in the young investors throughout the week and making sure they participate, but you're also then taking the information you learned in their shoes and guiding them in it and giving them this information that you actually learned. So because we have, kind of talked about it, share a little bit more about your total experience. Now, you said your group was phenomenal. I see you were having a good time with them. But what did they learn? And then, and most importantly, how have you leveraged one, what you learned as a student, and then what you have been learning, how as a mentor being menteed by others, how you've leveraged that during the camp as well?
So my first my first actual time, me being in the camp and being around, my older financial coaches, I was the main one who kind of just didn't listen. And actually getting into high school and actually having to put those skills that I did learn with Miss and Money Matters for Youth Camp, dealing with budgeting, making sure learning about financial literacy because they didn't teach that in high school, and actually learning about stocks. I still have my stockpile account to this day. I
Awesome.
remember going into the nonprofit and by Somerset Mall, and Miss Gail used to put us the little gift cards, the $25 gift cards under our little chairs.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my kickstart right there, where I actually wanted to learn more about money, being more smart with it, actually making investments, starting businesses, all type of the extra, and just being more learning about money in general.
Mm-hmm.
And when it was my time to actually be a financial coach and new kids or the younger generation actually coming in to learn the same thing and grow, and I feel like now they have way more access. We had access, but now the young generation actually understands how to use it at an early age.
Right.
At their age, I wasn't able to use it like the way they're using it now. So what I decided or what I gained from that was the fact that I can use that as a leverage on my peers. Because I know not a bunch of my peers was able to, be in the Money Matters for Youth program. That none of my peers know about writing out, your expenses and budgeting on what stuff you need to cut back on or what stuff you need to cut back on. I mean, what you need to put more effort in.
Mm-hmm.
So what I really learned mainly was investing in yourself. Because don't nobody got you more than you.
That's
And
right.
when it was my time to actually get on my grind and focus, those skills I did learn put me in the position that I am in today.
I love it. I love it. And you can see why I'm sure your team was appreciative of you because you probably was every time I seen them, y'all look like y'all were having fun, first of all.
I made sure because my kids were just sometimes they was just quiet. So I tried to be more involved. Like whatever they wanted to do, I make sure I tried to learn it. So they did something called shadow boxing. That was the main thing that we did when we was bonded, shadow boxing. So at first I didn't know how to play. So it took Monday is when they actually asked, "Jake, you know how to shadow box?" I was like, no. So they kind of just started being more quiet because now I'm not as involved as I should be. So that
Mm.
night I figured out how to do it. That next morning they were more involved than ever when I asked them. I was like, y'all want a shadow box? And then they actually started learning more about each other. So it wasn't just me learning about the kids. They were actually playing with each other and actually interacting, playing games on their phone. We was there exchanging numbers, talking about money outside of what we was doing in Money Matters or yeah, what we was doing in Money Matters
Mhm.
classes. When classes was over, it'll be, Jacob, what do I need to download? I want to get into stocks. Do you have any recommendations? Like me and one of the kids, right to this day, I'm going to one of his football games next month. He just sent me his schedule. He just sent me his
Awesome.
schedule. He asked me right the last day of camp, Jacob, is there any apps that I should be downloading? I need to tell my mom about for me to invest in the stocks. And I told him Stash, Stockpile, and Robinhood. Those are those three. It's his choice.
Yes. Yes.
Just being that type of person that actually somebody to look up to, like somebody I can reach out and they look up to me in that way because of I've already been in their shoes. So it's
Hmm.
feeling, being able to have a young mentor or a young mentee look at you in that way. Be
Right.
like, yeah, I can reach out to Jacob and ask him certain questions about, stuff because I don't know and he already know.
And I love that you're getting that and doing that right at this age. You received mentorship, like you mentioned earlier, for what you desire to do. And you never know how you're going to impact the other ones. Like you said in the beginning, your desire is for it makes an impact to someone else. And you're already doing it. How awesome. How awesome. So before we go into our next question, I'm going to set the next feature business for our show is Linked LLC. What is technical? Thank you. Okay. Linked LLC is offering 50% off plus one or free plus three for our consumer members. They are in the process of winding down their bridal and graduation season, but they said it is not too late if you have a wedding coming up. Or if you are a recent graduate, you can make sure you schedule your linked event where you will bead and bond with family and friends to celebrate this next chapter in your life. We have coming, marking your calendars, the Energy Concert Series. This boss approved event is the Caribbean Soul Experience, happening Thursday, August 17th at 7:30 p.m. at the, I'm not going to say this right, Duwagiac Music in the Park in Duwagiac, Michigan. If I said that right, I feel very proud. So make sure you mark your calendars. If you can make that event, you will not be disappointed. Then Lapeer Days, Roots Vibration is on the main stage at 12:45 p.m. to 2 p.m. And this is happening at Saturday, August 19th. Um, oh, wait. Yes, Saturday, August 19th. I'm sorry, from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. And yes, if you have not heard Roots Vibration before, you want to definitely make sure you take this opportunity to check them out. Okay. So, Jacob,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
came across a couple of posts in the past as I wanted to kind of prepare for tonight's show. So, please share about this. Now it says that you placed third. Tell us about exactly what it was, did you have to do, and how did you overall place? How
Okay.
the judging and all
So
of that.
so Carla Hall, favorite chef. I ended up seeing it on a little Instagram ad,
Okay.
and on it, it was you enter into a group voting. So it's like a bunch of chefs around around the world that enters into being the favorite chef. You get $25,000. You get a magazine segment on you. You get to be one in her TV show, and then it was a little extra stuff that you'll get also, a little incentives too. So I was definitely entered. I'm like, I think I can win this, and I was able to be top. I was able to be top. I think I was top five in my segment. I was top five in my segment. It's out of like 100 to 200 people. So it's just whoever
Really?
votes. So all the money that's voted goes into the James Beard Foundation, which is a foundation for chefs. So donates into other restaurants or upcoming chefs in the city, or scholarships, anything in the food industry. That's what the James Beard Foundation surrounds itself on. And
Okay.
Carla Hall is one of the dear chefs that was actually, the head of that event,
Okay.
or a part of that voting series. And I was like, I thought I can do it. I really did. And I appreciate all the people that contributed to that voting process, because it wasn't just free votes. You actually had to pay. It was $1 per vote. So people were actually like spending their hard earned money just to see me thrive. And I'm forever grateful. Even though we did lose next year, and when they do start it up again, I'm coming back way harder.
But
Way.
okay, so a little bit then about it so I can understand this. It said place third though, right?
Hmm. So
Okay.
you don't. So it's out of like a bunch of chefs around the world. So it's one segment, and then it's another segment. It was probably like 15, 16 segments through
Oh,
everybody that entered. So
okay.
I was just the top in my segment. I was top three in my segment. So if I
Okay.
would have been number one in my segment, I would have
Mhm.
had to go against everybody else's number one that's all in the other segment.
Oh, I get it.
And then whoever votes the highest and get that number one, then you'll get into that, get the $25,000, you get the magazine segment, you get the TV show, all a little extra. But
Oh, okay.
exactly.
Okay, but here we go. So if I'm getting all this correct as far as timing, first year culinary college, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Seeing the post or seeing something about it, entering top three in your segment.
Top three in my segment.
That's a huge accomplishment.
It very, and I was kind of sad though, because I feel like the people I was going against, and I'm not trying to call myself cocky, but I just knew that I could have topped, I could have been number one in my segment. I really did. I feel like I definitely should have promoted myself more, I did slack
Mhm.
off a little bit, just focusing on school and everything else. But I definitely could have promoted myself way more than what I did. Remind you, I do appreciate my village for even contributing, because I know that's money that they took out themselves to see me thrive. But I definitely wish that I could have put more focus and did way more marketing on myself to make sure I did win. Like it's a spot on Instagram where you can promote your posts around different other profiles on Instagram, so they see your post and
Okay.
decide to be interested in to donate. So my mom made sure every day, Jacob, did you post? No, sometimes I'll be slacking. And my mom will have to get back on me to make sure I was right. My dad, did you post? My auntie, did you post? Or I'll even receive text. I voted. Make sure you post today. So I was definitely just slacked a little bit, but I promise you next year it's gonna be a totally different ball game and I'm gonna be ready.
Now, did you have to prepare any dishes?
No. So
Okay.
it's your profile. So they look on your profile to see who they're actually voting for or who they're looking at. So
Gotcha.
it was that picture,
Hmm.
that description of who I was and what I'll do, if I did win, and then a couple picture of my dishes. And I think it was what school. I think they asked like if I was in school or anything like that. So I had to show a bunch of pictures of my dishes that I have made, a description of who I was, introducing myself,
Hmm.
my school, what school I went to, and then I think yeah, that was it. A picture showing my face.
Gotcha, gotcha. And in that picture, you look mighty confident. So
Thank you, thank you,
that's why we chose it. Now we have a comment that came in, that couple that come in. Thank you for your comments.
thank
Irma
you, thank
Alexander
you.
is saying, "Congratulations, young man. I love your energy, dedication, and all of your accomplishments. May God continue to bless you in all of your endeavors."
Thank you, thank you. I hope God bless you too. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes. And then we have 10. And 10, he said, "Awesome achievement. Third is a victory and a great victory."
I appreciate that. But next year we're gonna be aiming for that number one spot. I appreciate that, but it will be aiming for that number one spot next year.
And I am not mad at you for that. I am very competitive, and I'm like, okay, it's cool, but you gotta be number one. It's gotta be
Exactly.
number one. It's something different about it. And I'm telling you, once I know, make sure I know, because I'm definitely gonna make sure that it gets out there.
So in the crazy part, I did tell Miss Gail. Miss Gail actually put it in the Money Matters community, and that's why I was real much because I had a village. Like my support system was big enough to really take it. We really could have took it to the top. My support system could have really took it to the top. I just could have did a better job, and I sometimes beat myself up about it. I could have really
It's
did a better
okay, because
job of
part
just
of it, you said you were
putting myself
focusing on
out there.
school.
And but next year, I promise you, next year I'm gonna do a way better job because I'm
Well,
making sure I'm focused. I'm focused,
okay.
and I want that number one spot.
And I believe you're going to get it. I do. I believe you're going to get it. As we go into our next segment, these featured businesses from this segment is Phlebotomy Express Training Centers. Phlebotomy Express Training Centers is offering 10% off of their courses to our consumer members. Our Stay Connected, woo, Energy Concert Series, this boss approved event. Bands at the Blandford Outdoor Concert. Yes, a Caribbean soul experience happening August 19th from 6:30 to 9 p.m. Make sure you put this on your calendar, because you guys know I love me some King Mellow Man and Mellow Runnings. They never, ever disappoint. Then Mona Lisa's Lyrics is having a backpack giveaway at the Sterling Heights Lions Club. Backpacks will be given to the first 50 kids while supplies last. This is happening Sunday, August the 20th from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Some great, amazing events. Okay, so that was something that was in the past events. What do you have on the horizon as we're talking about future events and events happening, or even spilling a little tea. So we know, of course, you're going back to school. Definitely know that. What else is on the horizon for this amazing Chef Jacob?
So right now, I'm in the mix of creating my LLC,
Mm,
getting my business cards, making sure my business is right. I'm making sure I'm not saying I'm going fast or just jumping into it, but I want to make sure I do it correctly. Like, I
mm-hmm.
don't care how long it take. I just want to make sure I'm doing it the right way to where everything's set up in my favor. I'm currently writing down recipes for my seasoning line. Seasoning line is dropping next year. That's for a fact. I already have two recipes. I got an all-purpose seasoning that I already got down in my room in my little chef notebook. And then I have my seafood seasoning that I got in my notebook also. I'm currently trying to get locked down on this lemon pepper seasoning because I also want to add like a little pop to it to where it's also, a little tangy but sweet, but
Okay.
also with a splash of citrus in it. So I'm
Wow.
I'm really focused on that. Uh and also just cooking. That's really all it is with me right now. Just making sure I gain my experience. I'm not saying culinary school is a big thing, but I just feel like I mainly gain most of my skill through experience.
Okay.
Working under chefs that's better than me and learning what they showing me, and also doing the little small things to show that I am interested, and I am focused, and you know also, just me trying to come up with new recipes,
Mm-hmm.
experimenting with different foods.
Mm-hmm.
Also, working on my knife skills, just bettering my craft. So when it is time to show up and show out, I can,
I
to where
got
I'm
you.
at the best of my ability because I have been practicing, I have been working, I have been staying focused.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. Well, we got a few comments in the chat. I'm gonna get right to them. But before I forget what my thought was, I love spices. And because of some health conditions, I try to, of course, eliminate salts and oils and sugars. So for me, learning all these different new kind of spices that I never knew existed helps because I'm also eliminating the dairy and some processed foods and all of these kind of things for my health.
And
So,
speaking on that, I love that because that's my actual major. Like, my major is food science. So I'm actually getting into, being able to not have no lab grown foods, to be able to come up with something that's healthy. Cause I've been to multiple restaurants. Like, it's a restaurant I know right now that my dad took me to. And he fries this chicken. It's called, I forgot what the restaurant is called, but my dad know. But it's a restaurant that when he fries the chicken, he don't even use salt, but you'll think that it's salt in the chicken. And he won't
really?
tell me his recipe, but I'm going to I'm going to figure it out because I don't understand how it tastes like it has salt in it, but it's salt free. And I'm so happy
Wow.
that I am indulging in food science so I can learn, is there other ways, or is there another way that salt can be used, but it doesn't come with the downfall of having salt in your body.
Right. Well,
So
if
I'm
you
gonna
can
learn
find
that.
that out, let me know.
Of
My
course.
second question to you, I don't have a, a detective palate. And what I mean by that, I just know if it's good or if it's nasty. I can't taste something, be like, oh, there's oregano and oh, there's purse. I mean, can you do that?
I don't want to say I can, but I feel like I tasted food so much that I actually start to analyze. So you have sweet, you have sour, you have savory, you have the salt, you have the acid. You gonna taste what you gonna taste, especially when you've had so much food. You're gonna know, yeah, it's lemon in this, ain't it? Especially having my mom is a big food critic, and when I
Oh,
bring her certain dishes, and I be just like, yeah, try this real quick. Like, my mama hasn't seen nothing I put in it. I just be like, try that real quick, and be like, she asked me, you put lemon in this? You threw a little splash of orange in this? You put a little peanut butter in this Chinese noodle dish. She just get the accent because it actually analyzes, what you're eating. Because I don't,
Mhm.
you shouldn't just be eating something and not knowing what you're eating. So
Right.
when you start to analyze your palate, and I had to do the same thing with one of the Lions players that I cooked for the summer. So I cooked for the summer Tracy Walker, he one of the safety for the Lions, and I made him Hennessy lamb chops, burrito tacos, fried rice, and then
Mhm.
vegetables. So in the tacos, I threw a little pico de gallo in it, but he didn't know. So when he tasted it, I asked him, I was like, "What you taste?" He was like, "I'm just eating." I'm like, "See, that's not how," because he a football player, so all he focused on is gaining his weight, working out. So I'm like, "I need you. What are you tasting?" So I had to ask, I'm like, "Do you taste any onion? Do you taste cilantro? Do you taste a little olive oil? Do you taste a little truffle? Do you taste the savoriness in the meat?" Like you have to analyze what you eating. So you not just eating the food, you actually tasting it and savoring it.
I don't
So
know.
it actually feels good when you're
It
chewing it and
feels
it goes
good, but
down into your system.
I don't have a I don't have a detective palate.
If you
I,
don't have an, I feel like when you like a detective palate, I feel
right,
like
where I can
you gotta have to
actually,
just try to taste it just to see what you eating. You have
well,
to just try to
if
see.
it's good and I enjoy it, but for a long time I
Has it always
never
been like
knew
that?
what onion tasted like until it was the absence of onion. So then I could tell like something's missing because that flavor that the onion brought to that dish that I was
Exactly.
used to wasn't there. But I didn't know when I'm eating it that it was onion, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like I never knew I like garlic until I added it and could tell, oh, this is what garlic tastes like, because it was just there and I didn't know any different. But I am learning. Like you said, I am learning the spices so I can begin to detect it in my food and the enjoyment it brings.
And plus the more you taste, because I don't eat just to eat. I eat to taste and actually realize what I'm eating. So I feel like also on your side, the more you actually like taste and actually want to intrigue on know what you're eating, to be
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, what's in this? Like, especially with meat, I love when I cook for people, they ask questions so I can break down what I'm serving them. So it's not
Mm-hmm.
just, yeah, here goes some tacos I made, or here go this pasta I made. Just try it and tell me if it's good or not. So when they do ask, what type of pasta is this? Oh yeah, this is shrimp Alfredo that I made, or this shrimp scampi that I did with this white wine garlic butter sauce. See, and then I get to break down what's in it. So yeah, I added a little
Yeah.
tomato and I added a little garlic and crushed red pepper for a little spice. And then did a little onion to add a punch of flavor in it. Do you taste the onion? Do you taste the garlic? Do you taste the
Mm.
wine? So you just gotta break down, those type of foods, and you break down what you made. So it's not just like they just eating, they're actually starting to their brain
See,
starts to turn in the fact that they're just starting to taste it also.
right. This segment has made me hungry. So we have these comments of Philomena. Thank you for joining. She said, by the grace of God, you will be number one because you are number one. The Lord says,
You
you are the
and
head and not the
and not the
tail.
tail. I love that. I love
Faith
that.
Henry. This is a relative because he says,
Yes,
congratulations,
my
nephew.
auntie.
I know you're coming for number one. I love you more than anything. This is just a stepping stone. I know you got this. Hashtag focus.
Just all a part of the
Thank
journey.
you for joining. And Sandra Nixon, awesome. Thank you for joining. Charlena Brown, congratulations, nephew. Speaking the truth. Speaking like a true, I always say your last name wrong. I want to say Gutton.
Guyton, Guyton.
Guyton. Guyton. Spoken like a true Guyton. Love you. Sky's the limit. Thank you for joining. And Philomena, she says, stay natural, Jacob. I want to taste that chicken.
I got you. I got you. No problem. No
Now,
problem.
Philomena is definitely, she is a health nutritionist. So she is on that side of making sure that we stay healthy.
Ooh, we definitely have to connect. We
Exactly.
definitely
She
have to
she
connect.
actually will be on next week. So make sure you tune in.
I would definitely be tuned in. So that's one thing I'm definitely trying to get into more of, meal preps and actually being able to, cook on the healthy side. You can
Mm,
always just throw down and make something that's, fatty or filling, but also
yes,
having something that's light and filling and healthy for the body. That's a different type of thing that I'm also trying to get into.
definitely. Definitely. Now, with everything that goes on, just even in your life, in the world at large, and the things around you, what keeps you encouraged?
What keeps me encouraged is probably that. What keeps me encouraged is knowing that I have people looking up to me or people counting on me.
Mm,
Like in my family since I've been born, I feel like I was always looked at with this weight on my shoulders. I
really?
promise you, I feel like I've always been looked at with this weight on my like the especially being on my mother's side for almost 12 years to I think like 13, 14 years, I was the only boy.
Mm,
And carrying that weight is a total different mindset you got to have. Being that people, your younger siblings or your younger cousins looking up to you, or your older cousins looking up to you at a certain way, like, Jacob, you out here doing your thing, keep doing your thing, and just keep motivating you because they look at you in that way, keeps
mm,
me wanting to be more focused and keeps me wanting to be more intrigued. Even if I have times where I do be slacking off, or where
mhm,
I do, sag off a little bit, or I still got that village to say, you slacking, pick yourself up because we counting
mm,
on you.
mhm,
And then especially being an older sibling, like I have a little brother right now that's going to college this weekend. And we bounce off each other. Me seeing him win and he seeing me win, we stay on each other's toes.
I love
But at
that.
the end of the day, it keeps us right, and it keeps us on a straight and narrow. And the main thing is that really keeps me motivated is the fact that I know at a young age that God blessed me with a purpose. And my purpose
Yes.
is to serve.
Mhm,
And I've realizing that at 12 years old, when I started cooking, that that's what I was put on this earth to do, to serve. And every day I realize when I make something or I create a new dish, like I made oxtails yesterday, like from Saturday, Sunday, Monday till today, I've been on a real roll, and my mother's been proud. I've been feeling real proud of the dishes that I've been making. And
mhm,
I at a point in my life, like a couple months ago, I definitely got a little I don't want to say depressed, but I got a little sad. And I felt like I was falling out of love with cooking. Like I was
mm,
telling my dad, like, I don't know if this gonna be I don't think this right for me. Like I was thinking like what else am I good at that I can start getting into, because I fell out of my passion for cooking.
mm,
And just being able to, yeah, my mom asked me, Jacob, can you make something for me? Or Jacob, can you make this for me?
mhm.
And it comes out the way it should. And then she tasted and she sending me pictures and she posting it on Instagram like, look, my son just threw down on this. Or my dad, he tell me, Jacob, cut up this watermelon this specific way like you do, and it always tastes good. Or I tell him, Dad, throw a little lemon on there. It's gonna taste more refreshing, so it go down a little easier. Just being able to talk to him through food, and
Mhm.
also him knowing that that's what I'm into, and then my mom being able to create certain things, because my mom is eating. She eat whatever, no allergy, open to whatever I make. And my mom's favorite thing is oysters. And
Okay.
seeing I cooked oyster Rockefeller for my brother and my mom one day. And this is when the time where it was time for me to get back into it. I made my mom and my brother oyster Rockefeller one day. And usually you just do spinach, cream, and it was just simple. But for whatever reason this day, I wanted to make like a little Jamaican jerk oyster. So I threw a little bit of jerk seasoning in that sauce to throw on that oyster. And that was just the creative part. Just let's see how this turned out.
Mhm.
And when they tried it, the faces that they made when they tried that, was just, it put a sparkle in my eye. It put a little
Mhm.
fire in me again to be like, yeah, this is what I'm made to do. And I'm going to continue to push myself to do it. And
Mhm.
on Monday, or no, on Sunday, my mom, I want some shrimp linguine today. And I was like, okay, we got what we got in here. I'm about to use a little bit of this seafood stock, a little butter, this white wine sauce, and see how this come out. And throw a little tomatoes and spinach in there just to make it healthy. And for it to come out to where she ate the whole pot that night and had a little left for lunch.
Don't tell about your.
Exactly. Exactly. For her to have a little lunch tomorrow or that next day. I was like, yeah, I'm feeling this. I'm
You
feeling
know you ain't
this.
supposed to tell people your mama ate that whole pot. Now,
She
come on.
did. She did. And she got a high metabolism just like me. My mama don't gain no weight. So just for her, just for her to eat that whole pot, and for her to just talk about it days after, for her to be like, that pasta you made was the bomb. It just been on my mind afterwards. And when the time comes where I do open a restaurant or I do open a food truck later down the line,
Mhm.
and I make something for somebody, and they come back just to be like, yeah, that thing you made for me was phenomenal, and I can't stop thinking about it,
Mhm.
just keeps me going.
Now, I want you to hold on to that because you're going to have some highs, you're going to have some lows, and it could have been the universe, the mood, or whatever. When people talk about the stars out of line, I don't know, but I feel you on that because I call it the blah. When I can't put a word around this feeling that I have, and I just feel like blah, like I don't know if I'm on the right path. I don't know if I should still be doing this. You know, I go back to exactly what you did. The bigger picture is my why. I don't do this for me. I do this for others, just like you said. So the fact that you're seeing that now, the fact that you got joy from the expression people gave you and seeing the looks on their face, food, they always say, is something about the soul. You know, we get together, we socialize, we break bread. There's more to it. And when you put your love into it and your creativity in it, you're serving Jacob on that platter and you're giving them a piece of your love. And when they see it back and how they receive it, you're receiving it. And that's why you feel the way you do. So stay encouraged. I hope just what I just said, there's words that you can latch on to stay encouraged because life is go life. You know, that's what life does. And we're going to
Yes.
have those moments where we feel low and we don't know if we're, in it anymore. But remember, this is your purpose. Like you said, you've been blessed to find your purpose as early as you have. There are some adults my age still don't know their purpose, or either those who know their purpose or found their purpose and decided not to do it and are just existing. Because anytime outside of the purpose, you might have a life that you enjoy and you're happy, but it's just something different when you grasp on to that purpose because the impact is bigger than you. And so I just love that you share that. Stay encouraged, stay encouraged, stay
Of course.
encouraged. Now, as we
Definitely.
round out this last segment going into, I want you guys, we got a couple of more events that you need to know about and stay connected with. The the heels, high heels, and high yields. That means, yes, ladies, this is for you. Walking Women into Wealth series happening Saturday, August the 26th from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. We have on the panelists our very own Crystal Gunn, who is just a phenomenal financial strategist and the president of the United Community Solutions. And then Yvette Graham, who also will be keynote speaking at this event. We have the Paid Artist Showcase Sound Off happening Sunday, August the 22nd from 7 p.m. to 12 a.m. Performing live is Chaos, aka Whisper, and sounds by Coalition DJs of Detroit. And if you have any events that you want to add to our Stay Connected segment, make sure you visit www.dealswithbob.com and contact us today.
I think she froze. Is she freeze? Oh, she left. We gotta get her back, y'all. 1 second. So we are having technical difficulties. She done left me. But she said don't leave, so I am waiting on her. Hopefully she be able to get back in time. I sent her a little invitation to get back. It should be like a few minutes. Don't leave yet. I'm trying to get her back. I'm about to send her another invitation.
Well, I do see a couple people are still in, and it looks like I might have lost um Chef Jacob. I'm gonna let him know I just got back in the studio. But I want to thank you all for sticking in, and I do see some of the comments that were coming up. Yes, I have no idea why I got frozen and I could not get back in under any other platforms or browsers. It just would not work, so I had to completely shut my computer down and start it back up. But I do thank you all for joining. Yes, the conversation was great. We had that last and final question before we went out. So we were at the end of the segment, but you guys know I always close out with people knowing um, what book is on their nightstand. That is one of my standard questions that I ask. And of course, the book that was on Jacob's nightstand was Think and Grow Rich. So I will at least share that information with you. And of course, that is a phenomenal book, especially for all of the endeavors that Jacob is embarking on for his future. I do want to say my final thank yous to Jacob and, of course, all of his future endeavors. Additional thank you to the businesses that are part of our directory and our community, to MCS Financial Services Incorporated, Detroit Metro Plug Podcast, Divine Diva Designs, and Bright Tech Communications. We could not do the work we do without your support. Make sure you tune in next Wednesday on the 23rd, where we will be speaking with the phenomenal Philomena. And thank you for joining tonight's show. She is our holistic and health and wellness coach. And we will be closing the month out with Ishmael Terry, who is the founder of the nonprofit All for One. And if you have not already done so, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go over to YouTube, do a search for Deals with Bob, click that subscribe button. While you're there, make sure you click on that notification bell so you will be notified each and every time we go live with another phenomenal Bob. Again, I want to thank you for your time on this Wednesday. I apologize for the technical difficulty, but sometimes things are out of our control. I want to make sure you share this episode with others. Jacob is an inspiration to many young people and to some mature people as well. So make sure you support him in all the endeavors that he's doing. Our young people are our future, and they definitely could use our support. So until next time, I am Sonia Weaver. I encourage you to spend with purpose, because your dollar does matter, and deal with Bob. Have an amazing evening. Bye.